Right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We've got another video clip on how to put up a fence from Challenge Fencing. Now, 50% of fencing is digging holes, and that's hard graft. Good exercise, makes you fit, gets the sweat off your brow. It's important to put your fence posts in 2 foot into the ground, a minimum of 2 foot in the ground. Always bear in mind, on a high wind, that fence has got to stand up. Notice every post is plumbed in for its level and its height. Here we go, the bottom rails and the middle rail have been put in. He's mixing cement to put in the hole. That's a nice dry mix that will go off in half an hour, and then harden up in about 2 hours, and then overnight it'll go solid. Now bear in mind, when you put fences up, they're always next to bushes and trees, so when you put your fence up, make sure that all your precious dahlias are out the way. There you are, that's the second post being spirit leveled up. That's the third arras rail going in. Now, the most important thing of a fence is just get all the framework up properly. If the framework looks good, then the fence will look good. If the framework does not look good, don't put it up. Adjust the framework until it looks right. The customers ask for the end rail there to slope down. So if you're sloping down on a 10-foot bay, you have to frame it, and the best thing is to frame it with an arras rail. Gareth has cut that at the angle so it can fit on that angle. This is the top arras rails going in. Now notice that Gareth has adged his arras rail in. So there's Gareth doing a further post. Now it looks quite rickety, but once you've got the feather edge and you've got the gravel balls on it, it tends to be much more rigid. You've got some tree roots and you've got some lumps of concrete. If you have a good grafter, that's a nice narrow head of a shovel, then with a good 6-foot handle on it, it's got a lot of weight. So when you push that down into the ground, it punches through concrete and it punches through tree roots. You always put post rail, post rail, post rail. Don't dig your holes before, because what happens if you get it wrong and one post is off center, then it just causes trouble. You've got a post that is below the level line here. He's just going to lift that post up, put a bit of ballast underneath it just to bring it up to the correct level. See, so every rail and every post looks dead level and true. Here we've got gravel boards. You've got concrete posts and you've got concrete gravel board. This is the best type of fence component you can get. Why? Because timber rots only 6 inches below and 6 inches above ground level. That's why the industry has gone for concrete posts and concrete gravel boards. Why do you need a concrete gravel board? Because it keeps the timber components from the fence above ground level. Now that 2x2 is your stump. The stump is important because it holds your bottom arras rail level. The bottom arras rail tends to sag, and it's best to make sure that that is supported, and you support that by attaching that to the gravel board and putting it in the ground. So if you've got your feather edge resting on top of the gravel board, then your top line, where the eye's going to look, will also look good. The customers asked for a lowering of the last bay, and this is what Gareth is doing, and he's framed it nicely so it looks neat on the front and the back. That's a 4-inch feather edge with a 1-inch overlap. Feather edge is time consuming, you've got to nail every piece on, but bear in mind it's a concrete post, concrete gravel board and a pressure treated feather edge, so that will last a good 25 years. So this is a fence that's going next to the neighbour's flower beds. Again, it's a conversation you've got to have with your neighbour when you're putting a fence up like that. It's on the boundary, so your neighbour has a right to know what type of fence is going to go up. That's a fantastic looking fence. It looks pleasing to the eye. It's put up by a professional. You see, with a bit of careful thought and by looking at this video and asking questions, you can do that. If you've got any questions on what not to do and what to do, just pick up the phone and talk to us. Remember, our advice is free and we want you to have the best fence.